Some people can whistle, and some people can't.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
Some people whistle pretty well, but most people can't whistle like this.
I'm Sean Lomax. I'm an international grand champion whistler, and I whistle, and I love it. That's what I do. I whistle. Whistlers like myself, we practice. We practice many hours and try to attempt to get whistling to be taken a little bit more seriously.
Lomax is one of the few people who have devoted themselves to whistling at the highest levels of musicality. His unique sound has captured multiple international whistling championships. He's whistled the national anthem before crowds of thousands. He's appeared on television shows, including The Tonight Show.
Sean Lomax. Sean?
He's even performed with Cirque du Soleil. Whistling has taken Lomax around the world.
It doesn't matter what country I'm in. If I whistle a song, it has a way of just breaking barriers. People appreciate it, and it comes across to people. When you hear it really whistled and it's done properly, it has a way of just reaching out and just going right in and touching.
Whistling might seem frivolous, even annoying to some, but it's impossible to deny its indelible place in our cultural life. We whistle to express excitement. We whistle to train and call our dogs. Whistling is even used as a language in places like Turkey and the Canary Islands. And then, of course, there are the beloved popular songs with whistling in them, like Bobby McFerrin's Don't Worry, Be Happy.
This is a very melodic, great piece.
The Bangles' Walk Like an Egyptian.
Of course, the whistling part, I would always whistle.
And the theme to The Andy Griffith Show.
I could whistle it backwards and forward, whistle it in my sleep. And my wife said that I actually used to do that, whistle in my sleep.
Lomax has a style all his own. His whistling makes even the simplest songs sound sophisticated.
Okay, for example, this is how most people would whistle Pop Goes a Weasel. This is how I would whistle Pop Goes a Weasel.
But Lomax says anyone can improve their whistling.
It just takes practice.
So how should beginners get started?
The main thing is to relax. Don't purse your lips. Find the location or the spot where whistling is comfortable for you. And the way I do that, or the way I would suggest you do it, is to practice in front of a mirror and finding the circle. Relax. Find the circle and go from there.
To change pitch, just change the size of the circle. Lomax likes to think of it a little bit like the aperture of a lens in photography.
In photography, a smaller aperture brings in a tighter amount of light and gives you a more clear picture. Well, it does the same thing with whistling. So the smaller the aperture, the higher the pitch. The larger the aperture, the lower the pitch.
He also suggests practicing alongside a piano, a pitch pipe, or a frequency tuner.
And you should really do that when you first start, because then your notes are going to be tight, they're going to be accurate, and you're learning it the right way and not just by ear.
Whistling at Lomax's level also takes proper preparation. Step 1, apply lip balm.
I use cherry chapstick, but anything is good.
Step 2, eat a peach.
Peaches or nectarines give the right balance to your mouth. They clean out all the bad stuff that's in there, and you get good liquid spit. So a good peach. Before you start whistling is the way to go. Hold on.
Step 3, work out those lips.
It's necessary to ensure that you keep these muscles and the lip muscles in really top condition. And you just do this until it begins to hurt.
But the real key to pro whistling is breathing.
Breathing is important, extremely important. Breathing is everything. In order for me to whistle a song, I have to first figure out how to breathe it. Once I learn how to breathe it, then the whistling becomes a little bit simpler. You want to be able to continuous without any breaks.
In fact, it's breath control that lets him conquer complex songs like Flight of the Bumblebee.
When you break the note, all air ceases, and it's a matter of controlling your breath. The trumpet player, for example, is breaking the notes. And that is what you're doing with your tongue. It's very difficult, and again, it takes practice. Making a note a little faster each time just takes practice.
In fact, it took Lomax years to develop the techniques needed to perform the most demanding tracks.
I'm combining about 3 or 4 different whistling styles in there when I'm doing Flight of the Bumblebee. I'm also humming when I whistle with vibrato.
The most common style of whistling, and the one Lomax practices, is called pucker style, which is exactly what it sounds like, pushing air through pursed lips.
I call it pucker power whistling because I breathe out the music.
And while pucker might be the most common style of whistling, it's not the only one.
There are lots of different types of whistling. There's it's very difficult. It's referred to as African whistling. There's, of course, pucker whistling. That's what I do. There's whistling that you can do. Whistling with the fingers. There's palm whistling, where you use, which I can't do, where you use your hands. There's this whistling where you whistle between your teeth. See, I can't get there.
What Lomax can do is his own unique whistling sound.
There are a lot of good whistlers out there. When I learned how to whistle, I was a young kid in church and I would hear the Hammond B3 organ. I was trying to emulate the Hammond organ. Whether it's the Hammond B3 or we're trying to do a riff in a guitar or something like that, I've used the whistle to try to emulate it.
Listen as Lomax whistles Amazing Grace with his organ emulation style. It's almost like 2 instruments are playing at the same time.
What I do is I hum and use the cavity in my nose, between my nose and my upper palate, to resonate the sound. The guy in Jurassic Park had that thing where he blew into it and it made the funny sound. But that's kind of what I'm doing. Is and it just gives it a different, unique sound.
Technique is obviously critical, but at the core of Lomax's whistling is emotional interpretation of songs, like his version of Mozart's Queen of the Night. That's what he says has clinched his multiple international whistling championships.
You're judged on your dexterity, you're judged on clarity of notes, you're judged on the piece that you pick, you're judged on even your stage presence.
Lomax doesn't just read the music, he researches the song.
With Queen of the Night, if you know the opera, the queen is telling her daughter that she needs to go and kill this guy and, bring her a blood-stained dagger by morning. It's a pretty intense song, and it's an emotional song. So if you can bring that to the performance, it makes for a much better performance than just whistling it note for note and it being right. That's very good, of course. But if you can bring that extra to it also and show the emotional portions, then it makes for a much better winning performance.
And it's that dedication and attention to detail that lends Lomax's performances their power.
You have to practice it. Once you get there, it's like, wow.